Bad attitudes have trouble coexisting with whistling, humming, singing, dancing. It's really hard for a bad attitude to coexist with that. Hey, Dr. Dan here, and I guide students to be smart about higher education and live a life that matters. Now, in today's Wisdom for the Week, I'm going to start out by not giving you the title, but I'm going to whistle a little song, and I want you to see if you can guess it. So, here we go. Here's my expert whistling. Did you guess it? The older you are, I think the more familiar you would be with that, but even small kids can get that because that's the song from the movie Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and that's the song called Whistle While You Work. So the title for today's Wisdom for the Week is Whistle While You Work, Attitude Brain Hack. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Snow White clip, just the clip, the Whistle While You Work clip. And this was Disney's first animated film back in 1937. And it was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And it's basically based on the premise of the quote, many people heard the quote of, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So it's kind of the principle of making the best out of the situation that you're put in. Play the cards that you have. So does that only happen in Disney movies? I'm not really sure, but do you whistle while you go to school? Do you make lemonade out of a bad situation at work or in a bad relationship? And again, is that just a Disney World or Disney movie fantasy? Now, Snow, I'm going to call her on a first name basis, or Snowy. Snow is in this situation where she's being chased by this wicked woman, and these animals help shuffle her off to the Seven Dwarfs' home, which they're not home, they're at work. She's in the house. She sees this house as an absolute mess, but she might as well do something while she's there, so she cleans it up. And she's getting all the animals to help her. Now, these are animals that normally, if they were let alone in a home, they would wreak total havoc on it. But again, this is Disney, so this is the part of the movie that is Disney. So she's singing a song, humming a tune, the birds are whistling, but the brain hack part, is this a brain hack? And the reason, what's a brain hack? Brain hack is merely manipulating neurons in our brain, shifting around our thinking so that we can direct how we want to think. So can we direct that we want to be positive? Brain hackers would say yes, there are brain hacks that could do that. Put us in a happy mood and shift things around. So yeah, that can happen. So the fact that this movie, the whistling tune, resonates with people. They may not have seen this movie for years, but they can remember this tune. They may not have had any association with this, but they'll think about this, and it'll bring kind of a happy feeling back to them. They'll get memories from when they first heard that song. So these are the kind of things that stick and come way back from the catacombs of the mind and help, or are easy to remember. We didn't even have to try to remember them. We didn't even have to try to memorize them. That's what you would call a great or the ultimate brain hack. So there's no real complete explanation on how this works. And there's a lot of research that's been done on what physical actions do to alter our moods, how our moods can alter how we feel physiologically. So these things are reciprocal. They go back and forth. But there's nothing that taps into that more than when there's some meaning in it. C.S. Lewis has a quote. He's a famous author, and he quotes, "Reason is the natural order of truth, but imagination is the organ of meaning." So anytime we have meaning that's associated with some type of memory, it makes a huge difference in how it registers with us. So was it the humming, the dancing, the singing, the rhyming of the lyrics, the little animals jumping around, the lightheartedness, the tone, the cadence, that's the pace of what she did, how she sang, how fast, how slow. Was it any of these or all of these? Yes. All of those things packaged together really made an impact. Any one of them could have made an impact, but all of them put together made a huge impact. So the writers and the producers of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, back then they had some reason. They were kind of sitting down thinking, okay, let's do an alteration. Actually, the story is an alteration of a grim fairy tale, and the grim fairy tale was not as happy as this was, so they did their little adaptation of it and turned it around, and they were writing it with the intent of, yeah, bringing joy to people, but the main thing, we have to make a profit, we have to make this make sense. They worked hard at doing that, but they also wanted to touch the imagination of people and touch their hearts, and boy, did they ever do that. Did they think it was going to be one of the all-time best-selling movies ever? I don't think so. You shoot for that, but there's no way to lock that in and say, oh yeah, we could do that. Now, does Snow White work for tragedies in our life? It might for a few, but it's probably not appropriate because nothing really works in tragedies other than just mourning. But can it turn around those everyday sadnesses that we have, or maybe some downer times that we have? I think Snow dancing around with a bunch of little critters and broom just might do that. And it's the integration of a physical movement that she's doing and some emotional meaning to us and touching our hearts. So the attitude is the root of the problems in anything that we have, in our relationships, in our work, in our schooling. And so if we have the right attitude, we can turn things around. Viktor Frankl was a survivor of the Holocaust, and he wrote a book on meaning in life. And the people that had hope, they had the right attitude, the attitude that they could get through this and they had something to get through it for, those are the people that survived. People that didn't have that, they were much more likely to pass away and die in the situation. Bad attitudes have trouble coexisting with whistling, humming, singing, dancing. It's really hard for a bad attitude to coexist with that. Did you ever try skipping? I hadn't skipped in years, and you kind of get this lightheartedness when you skip. You can derail bad attitudes with physical activity. And then happy animals help in that process too, which, by the way, was part of that movie clip. Nothing like coming up and petting a dog, or for those of you who are cat lovers, you can pet your cat. They help alleviate bad moods, bad feelings. So get those combinations, and any combination of those things. Sometimes just one of them will help. But you can overcome that and get through this and get in a position where your attitude is lifted and you can get a better attitude. So Snow White Therapy is over 80 years old and simple, but don't underestimate the power of a whistle. This is Dr. Dan. If you thought this was helpful, if you liked it, leave some comments below. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like me on Facebook. Go to my Facebook page. Post this link to your Facebook page. Tweet it and share it with others, because it may be able to lift their spirits and help them whistle while they work. So this is Dr. Dan. Know where you're going in your life. Be the person you were destined to be and make a difference in the world. So make life an auto zone of growth and development. That's the key. Just always want to be in position yourself to succeed.